Okay, let me see if we have sound yet. There's something definitely wrong here. I don't have delay on because this is effectively a test stream. Oh, this is so retarded. Yeah, the reason I have my camera blocked off is 1, I don't come on cam ever. And 2, because I need to see what it's doing, whether it's, picking up the camera, which it is, so I'm just testing a bunch of shit and trying to find out what the fuck is going on. Somebody please let me know if you can hear me. I don't see anyone in yet. And while I do this, I'm just going to go over to Studio and get rid of those other 2 streams. Actually, the other 1 stream. Since it has nothing to it. Damn it, that's annoying. Get rid of this. Bye-bye. No. Bye-bye. All right. So I'm waiting to see if anybody hears me. Okay. So this is some stupidness native to fucking Streamyard. That's annoying. Makes things a little bit more difficult for me because I got to learn a whole fucking nother skill set now. All right. So this one's going to be short. Y'all ain't getting no maps until I figure out my shit over here. With God as my witness, I've checked out this mic everywhere. I've tried it on both mics. Something happening to my sound. I probably just have to uninstall and reinstall a bunch of shit, which I didn't do. That's the last step in my little progress here. No, Streamyard, y'all dropped the ball because I know that it isn't me this time. I'm a little better at it than I was back in the day when I thought the Streamyard icon was someone hacking me. Yeah, Magog of Morskart. I don't know that person. Hey, Skits, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to being one of my mods. There was a whole bunch of good shit I said about you. To wit, you did a really, really good stream with that interview that you did with me. And I want to tell you that I really appreciate you for that, because I have a feeling that the roots of Suit and I starting to really communicate with each other instead of just going da 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 da. I think it had its roots with that stream. I think it kind of kind of turned back our heat maybe just 1 degree. And that 1 degree was the proof in the pudding that made us able to actually communicate with each other. And the rest is history. Can you believe it's been 2 strong years? Actually, more like 2.5. Some things were meant to be. And for your part in that, I wanted to thank you. Everybody that doesn't know YouTube Schizophrenic, he's an amazing person. He's one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. And so say hi to him. Get to know him. Fucking sub to his channel. This is called a shout out. I can't shout him out strongly enough. Sub to YouTube Schizophrenic's channel. Please start making more content. Your shit was good. It always was. You were always very grounded in the way that you asked questions and did things. So yeah. Did I mention sub to this man's channel? And Dagger says, hey, folks, I'm the local skinny prick. You are the local loyal and true friend. You're somebody else that I was bragging up a little while ago. You were honestly an amazing person also, despite being a goddamn elf. Fucking knife ears. What can you do with them? Anyway, I was talking about world building back on that stream where the sound wasn't working. I was talking about a lot of stuff, and so I'm probably going to have to do all that rebooting and resetting and farting around and the use of language even more regrettable than usual. So, I see that I got 6 folks watching. Welcome to all of you, every single one of you. And people have been asking me, well, when are you going to start unblocking people? I'm not. I'm kind of done giving people chance after chance after chance and then getting burned for it. If you're here to see creepypastas, love me, feed me, never leave me. Yeah, I feed the living shit out of you. And yes, everybody took that dirty. I know. But there'd be roast lamb on your table. There'd be fresh baked bread. There'd probably be a nice bowl of Italian wedding soup to go with your lamb. Big old Caesar salad. Mm-hmm. I'd let you pick the veggie because people tend to be particular. I am of the school of thought that there was never an artichoke I didn't eat. They're delicious. Yeah, I know you have a metabolism like a hummingbird, Dagger. I mean, he's this little skinny guy. I mean, you could freaking cut your finger on his cheekbones. He's this little, sharp-featured, skinny dude, and he's really cool. And since we started talking way back in the day, we've just been. He's one of my Pelitharians, to give you an example. He's one of the very few. Hey, Valkyrie, how's it going? He's one of the very extremely few people that is on this channel that is also part of my Chronicles of Pelitharius game. And it's going to stay that way. First of all, I never take an RPG over about 7 people. That's what I can DM for most effectively. So that's number 1. Number 2, I got people in that game, on that server. I'm still not pulled completely away from drama, whether I like it or not. There are people going to be still trying to pull me into it, whether I like it or not. Some of the people that are in my game are people that I don't choose to have subjected to the kinds of things that I have been subjected to. So I'm protective of my game. I'm protective of the people in it. Chances are, other than Dagger, y'all not going to know who all is in the game. And yeah, it's like neener. This is the cool kids club. Please be cool. Seriously. Can we all be cool? I just want to have a decent YouTube channel. I just want to have some fun. And I know that this is kind of audio only because I've still got tape over my camera. It's a hell of a waste of good seamstress's masking tape. Stuff doesn't leave a residue, which is why I chose it. Yes, they make that. They make stuff that you can actually put on fabric. Use your disappearing ink marker to mark your fabric, pull the tape off, and then wash whatever it is that you made, and it's gone. Poofa, poofa, poofa. But, oh, Jesus, why did I even go poofa on here? Somebody's going to clip me going poofa. I just know it. What an existential crisis. Somebody's going to hear me going poofa. Which you do anyway, because if you're in this house and there are cats running around, I'm probably yelling poofa at 2 of them who have long hair. One of which is 𝕨𝕝𝕝𝕤, the superlative kitten. She's the amazing kitten. But yeah, so, so you're going to see more Pelitharius material. You are likely not going to see very much about Pelitharius the game. You will hear about world building. You're probably not going to hear very much about, the real back of the house, nuts and bolts creative process, save for maybe eventual members only streams. I am going to be building up my Patreon. There is going to be some stuff that winds up on BitChute, not here, because of how disturbing the content will be. Now, I'm not going to sit there and start showing a bunch of gore or talking about violently inappropriate stuff. We know what kind of inappropriate I mean, the stuff that people are running around accusing each other of. So you're not going to see, heaven forfend, ghastly material like that, but you are going to see, let's just say, what's a good arterial spray among friends? Yes. Dagger says, we call it the trauma train. There is a reason we call it the trauma train. Bad things frequently happen. I mean, our session 0 saw us fighting this big monster with a party that was woefully unprepared, people that didn't even know each other. I started with the cliche, y'all meet in a tavern. But it kind of, can you see me a little bit? Maybe a little bit if I do this. That's dumb. Who knows? Maybe I'll edit this to put something. I don't know. This is really only a test stream. That's why I don't have shit all on there. But yeah. So, nobody was ready for that particular scenario. And it didn't end up being a TPK or anything like that. But a couple of people, including a plot mover character of mine, got pretty badly injured. And I will note something. There's a lot of bad rap that goes around to people that play quote unquote DMPCs. Let's talk about that. There's a right way to do it. There's a wrong way to do it. The wrong way to do it is where you make everybody else in your party set pieces. And you're the one telling the story. At that point, just go write a book. Like, really. So that's the wrong way to do it. Another one is my character is so much more powerful than any of the PCs, and y'all can never hurt him. Yeah, and Skit says DMPCs get ruined by ego. That is exactly correct. Every single one of the plot, and I don't call them DMPCs because they are there for one purpose. That purpose is, hey, dude, maybe you should go over here, not hyper focus on this painting right here. We can take the painting when we go on the way out. That's what those types of characters are supposed to be for. But a lot of people fall into this trap where they create a DMPC and they're like, oh, well, Sally Jo Rottencrotch, she's the best ever, and da-da-da-da, and this and that and the other thing. And, I just love Sally Jo Rottencrotch, and you will too. Really, I promise. You must. You must love my creation. No. Yeah, and what happened to Dagger is he slipped on some shitty laundry, slipped out a window, got knocked out in the middle of a hurricane. Yay! Fredo is here. It's kind of, fortuitous that he showed up. Fredo, I know you've got a tarot reading scheduled with me soon. Here's the question I have. I was going to ask you on Discord, but I may as well ask you now, and there is no wrong answer. Do you want to do your reading on a stream, or would you prefer to do your reading in private? Yes, Dagger, that was fucking hilarious. I mean, he's like falling all over the place, like, bah, what's going on? And everybody else is like, yeah, there's some major weather inbound. Okay. So that's a thing. That's an announcement. Y'all getting another tarot stream sooner as opposed to later. Y'all remember the stream that I did where I interviewed Fredo. It's not going to be quite that structured, but Fredo and I have a groove that we get into he's like close to 2 decades now. He has used me as a resource when he needs a tarot reading. And it's been an honor every single fucking time. And I cherish every single, reading that I do for the man. They're all memorable. And what are you eating, cat? Don't eat that. How many times a day do I say don't eat that? I don't know where she finds stuff. And she just jumped up on the table with a dust bunny. I'm like, don't fucking eat a random piece of fuzz. Of course it's Audie, Fredo. She's bad to the bone, aren't you? Don't bite me. What do you think this is? Is this the kind of household where you bite your mother? Spoiler. Yeah, it is. It's where you bite your mother. That's just what happens around here. Please like up the stream. Please like up the stream. It is very, very important to have people kind of, hit those likes and hit those subscribes. Because when it comes down to it, that's what really winds up building a channel up. The donations are massive help. I'm still trying to fund Dragon Professional. And every time I look at the software and every time I run the demo or look at the capabilities, I find something else that I needed to do. In this particular example, one of the things that I do is I have a Note 10. Yes, I need a new phone soon. So I have a Note 10, and the entire reason why I have been so loyal to the Note series is because I like to be able to pop my stylus, scrawl an idea down on the screen because it's 2:00 in the morning and my cat just leaped all over my feet and I'm awake. and something popped up to me that maybe came in a dream. Hellscape came from the worst dream I'd ever had, for example. You'd be able to write that down and then put the stylus back in and go to bed. Therein lies madness, though. My half asleep self has a couple of times come really fucking close to losing that stylus, which is what the fuck is the point of having an 𝕨𝕝𝕝 if you don't have the stylus? So that's what I've been doing. And it's because of illegible sleep handwriting, because I've only got a certain amount of space to write on, even a note 10, there's some moving parts in there that are a lot more likely to break. Not so with the professional version of Dragon. All I'd have to do is have it on my home screen, fire it up, and start going, and then there was a big explosion, which is usually how my notes go. In fact, just such a note, that is one of the ways that I came by this one specific type of creepypasta telling that I am going to do. And I think you guys are going to enjoy this. Hopefully it'll lead to guessing. So there's that. I have to retool my whole shit because after this latest display by StreamYard, I'm probably not going to use it again. It's a pain in the fucking ass, and I'm really sick and tired of stuff like this. This is not the first time I've had a problem like this with StreamYard. And now I got to go through and go digging around all over the place, find out what the fuck happened. And Valkyrie says, I didn't know Hellscape came from a nightmare. I should write about this recurring dream I've had since I was a teen. I swear it was a past life. Hit me up, Valkyrie. If you still have me on Discord, hit me up. I'm as good at dream interpretation as I am at tarot. And for multiple reasons, I owe you a solid. Hit me up and I'll interpret that dream for you if you'd like. This is the dream. This is the dream that spawned my empire. Well, it's not a very big empire, but it's mine and I cherish it. I dreamed that I was in this decrepit ass, bombed out, derelict building, about up to the ankles in water. I remember my feet were wet. And I was cowering, and it was on the left coast somewhere, so, watching the sun start to sink. And there's this guy on the beach, and he had long, long flowing red hair, unruly, wild. And he was wearing these kind of sand-stained, grimy, but still in relatively good repair, which is better than everyone else around there. Because I remember this being a ruined world. That shit was bad, and as bad as it can get before you wind up pushing up daisies bad. So he's standing there, he's wearing clothes that are a lot more sound than most clothes I've seen on people in the recent period since the bombs, because this was bombs. And he's got an AR-15, and he's got a Casull 454 on one hip. The Casull is just a very large bore revolver. Probably a couple of other weapons. I don't remember anything particular about that. And he was standing with his boots in the surf, the foam washing around his ankles, with his hands held up to the sky, watching the sunset. And I knew if this motherfucker were to turn around and see me, I was dead. There would be no hesitation. It would just be over. And as he was holding his hands up to the sky, he spoke a few words, and those words were in a German accent. I can't do a German accent to save my life. Please don't ask me to try. He said the human instrument has been contained. And I legit woke up fucking screaming. There was something in that phrase that was absolutely horrific. And so the first thing I did, after I got finished shaking and crying, was write the dream down. I will say this repeatedly. Write the dream down. If you dream something significant that wigs you out, write the dream down. And it's not just because I want your money. I do want your money, but I would like you to have access to your dream log even more. That will tell you so much more about, what's going on in your subconscious process. Because dreams are kind of like your subconscious trying to have a conversation with you. They are pervasive impressions that you get that are getting echoed back while your waking mind is asleep. And it's just a kind of a happy accident that your brain tends to remember some of the really good ones or the really bad ones like this one. So get those dreams down for me. That is another way that you could help out the channel if you ask me for that. And Fredo's correct, dreams fade quickly unless you write them down. And this also gets you into the habit of remembering them. Because there have been a couple of times when solutions to shit have literally come to me in a dream. Like the book I knew I wanted to write. I knew I wanted to write post-apocalyptic horror. Fredo can even tell you, I think I talked to him like a day or two after I had that dream. Because he was right there watching me while I was in the active process of writing 𝔹𝕖𝕝𝕝. He was there with me, watching me go through all the pain I went through. That wasn't an easy book to write. And if people are reading it and people are still enjoying it, and they are, I still get a little bit of money from royalties. If people are still enjoying this book, then that's fantastic. That is absolutely wonderful. And I'm glad I've been able to provide this sort of entertainment for you. But it wasn't easy on the back end of it, because I was having to envision and also research some shit. An example of the kind of shit that I had to research: behavior of large packs of feral dogs during a massive, massive disaster. And usually a pack of dogs, you'll see like 4, 5 maybe. The dogs that I wrote about, and there was a reason the pack sizes got this big. The packs of dogs that I wrote about as inhabiting the city of Tucson after the bombs were packs of like 21, 25 individuals, which is massive. Even wolf packs tend to not get that big. There's a reason. And I won't tell you what the reason is, because I want you to buy my shit. And you're going to hear buy my shit a lot. And it's okay if you don't like hear buy my shit, if you don't like to hear that. But the simple fact is I'm doing the same goddamn thing that every other YouTuber does by asking for those donations. And it's not just stuff like Dragon Professional. There are some other things that I need. I mean, some of it is just stupid stuff. Like I really do need a pop filter for the mic that I have coming. Yeah, and YouTube Schizophrenic know a thing. This is why I keep the guy around. You're staying this time. Do you understand me? Damn it. And Skit says this actually happened in Russia. Starving wolves attacked a town. He's correct. I read that case. So packs of dogs tend to hinge on how many threats are present in the environment, how strong are the individuals within the pack, and how much food is available. And, I want to tell you that after a nuclear war, there's going to be a rather embarrassingly large amount of food, at least at first. And I think you know what that food probably is, don't you? Bodies! I need to not do that because, I'm training my voice, but y'all don't get to hear that either. Maybe eventually you'll hear me sing, but not now. So yeah, there's that. See, there's a lot I have. Yeah, long pig, Skit says, and he's correct. So what you're talking about in the Tucson Valley is you're talking about an area outside the city that's rarefied in resources. Yeah, you find a couple of jackrabbits and a snake or two here and there, but not a lot in the way of actual large chunks of meat. Do you hear me, people? You're meat, all of you. So, comparatively speaking. So the wolves get wolves. They are wolves. They're 99% wolf, right? Look at all that DNA. I have a joke about DNA for later. So they get driven back into the city because there's nothing else to eat around in that desert. Yes, we're the most biologically diverse of all deserts in the world. Yes, I'm serious. No, I'm not kidding. Look it up. You'll hear me say that a lot. So they're getting driven in by the desert, and there are an awful lot of dead people in town. But at the time that my protagonist and his merry band of men and women, trust me, there are some pretty significant women in this story, because there would be. Anytime there's an emergency, they're always really significantly advanced or powerful or just smarter or some other way of having it together where others around them might not. So he's got this, get the fuck out of the trash. Did I tell you to get in the trash? I did not. So there are kittens that get into the trash. What are you doing? I have this hanging up here for a reason. You still try to get in it. I've had to hang my trash bags up because somebody likes to jump in them and then tear them up and scatter trash. I'm looking at you. But yeah, so, he's got this relatively significant group with him. But 21 days, not days, but, 21 wolves, effectively, dogs. And about a month, maybe a little more than a month after the bombs, starting to dial down on how many, how many of those yummy roasting in the sun dead bodies there are to chew on. So they start targeting actual people. Well, not that a human corpse isn't people, it's just an unalive people. And I'll even let you look up the chapter. The title of that chapter is Brass, Glass, Death, and Dogs. And you'll find out why when you read the goddamn chapter, which, of course means that you will have read the goddamn book. Please read the book. That is another thing that helps me. It is also very encouraging to me. Here, I'll stick my name in the title in the chat. That is my book and my title, and it's still out there. I had it down for a while, but I decided, fuck it. I'm putting it back up. It's staying back up. Fun fact, there are no less than 3 people that started out hate watching me, but then picked up the book and they were like, you know what? I'm sorry. Bitch, you can actually write. So, it's doing something. It is doing its job as advancing me as a creative as opposed to just commentary. Skits is correct. It does have some really good reviews, which have slowed down because I'm not getting very many sales now. And the unfortunate part of human nature is you tend to hear the bad news first. So around Utubia, as it were, you're probably hearing a bunch of people talking shit about it and so on, because I was, maybe to an extent I still am, I was something of a controversial figure back in the day. Yeah, I like to think I'm not now, but come on, I'm a horror author. I'm going to be talking about some gross fucking shit with the Patreon only stuff over there on BitChute. At least this has got me where I want to start using Odyssey and or BitChute. Yes, I know that there are a lot of right-wing people over there. That's fine. They can come over and start yelling at me. They can get blocked just like anyone else can. The nice thing about, of course, BitChute is you can put what the fuck you want up there without somebody showing up and going, you said, dun, 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 the word sex. Yes, I've seen people censor the word sex. The word abuse when we're talking about something non-specific. Now I can understand, and I'm not that channel, so I'm going to say the words out there. Child abuse. Say it with me. Child abuse. Child abuse. It's important to understand that it happens. Child abuse. That's the way that you help victims. Child abuse, know what to look for. Child abuse. If you see a kid in trouble, help the kid. And you can't help a kid if you don't know what the fuck it is that you're trying to target. Millions of kids out there. I'm child-free. I don't want to spend time with them after the crisis is over. But you can bet my fat ass would roll this big old wheelchair between myself or between a child and any goddamn harm that was about to come to that child. I would lay my life down for a child. And if you're not the same way, then you're missing part of the human experience at the very least. At the worst, get away from me. I don't want to know you. You're going to be 92 years old, and that little kid you helped is going to be, that little kid you helped might very well be the person who's in charge of your treatment. They might be a physician or something like that. Welcome back, Dagger. They might be someone otherwise, in contact with your care, a social worker, a facility administrator of some kind. You're 92 years old. You can't do shit all. But that little kid that you helped way back in, 2042, let's just stick a date on there, sure as hell remembers you. And that's microcosmic. That's not talking about, that's just talking about one individual, say, really good nurse, and one individual elderly man or whatever. Imagine that you manage to help somebody that becomes a world leader, that manages to make really good impact on the world around them. And people are like, well, but how can you say that? You never had any children. I'm like, you're right. I never had any children. I'm on the autism spectrum. In my case, high functional, but who's promising that any child I had would be high functioning? It could be very significant. I've got bipolar. Bipolar runs in families. My mental health is frankly shaky. I'm just a lot more self-aware than people that have my diagnoses often are, because that's been a lot, and I mean decades of a lot of therapy. So yeah, if you wouldn't drop what you were doing and put your own life at risk to save the life of a child, I probably don't want to know you. But yeah, so say the words. Fuck you, YouTube. And say these words too. Child abuse is something you need to maintain as an awareness. Domestic abuse, other kinds of horrible shit, human trafficking. All of these are words that YouTube wants to censor right off the fucking platform because of advertisers. And now you know why some of my really harsh, hard stuff is going to be on BitChute, because I'm not going to do it. Now, my anti-censorship stance means that people might come up in this bitch and say shit that I don't want to hear. Okay, that's what the block button's for. Okay, that's what time delay is for. Okay, that's what subs only is for. And in this case, I don't have subs only on, because who knows? Somebody might come in and be like, yes, Bells, we can hear you. No, we can't. Fortunately, it was, people that I know that came in, so like loud and clear. Still got to find out what the fuck happened to Streamyard to make sure it's not affecting anything else. YouTube is doing everyone a disservice with how stringent their censorship has become of late. Not to mention, let's discuss how unequally it tends to be applied. This really wasn't going to be an anti-censorship stream. I may have to change the title. One person can go, oh, well, so-and-so is pick a slur, any slur. Yeah, people complaining, a certain Christian author we know. Uh-huh. Yeah, uh-huh. Oops, I read that out loud. I wasn't sure because you redacted it immediately. Fredo, give me a yes or no on that. Should I tell that story? I think people might find it intriguing. No names, of course. He meant people complaining like a certain Christian author we know. So, there's a fandom that I'm in that Fredo is also in. And this fandom is one of the very, very few, in fact, the only fandom I have ever written any fan fiction on. So and this particular property does bring in a certain amount of people of faith, and that is entirely fine. I mean, you can come in here waving your Bible and wearing about 10 crosses and talking about Jesus, and I will be perfectly happy. There have been times when, I call on Christ myself because I have reasons to these days. I'm not going to get into it, but we'll just say that there is a presence with me these days. So you can come in and be as Christian as you want, but when you come in and start poking me in the chest and saying, well, you can't write this, or telling one of my friends you can't write this, or that character wouldn't do that, when that friend of mine has been involved in this fandom since the 70s, I kind of think Fredo knows how the characters in this particular franchise would act and react. So there was a big kerfuffle. It caused a big fight. It almost caused a fight between myself and Fredo until we brought the brakes on. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on. This person's being a douche canoe. And we hit on a very neat little solution to the problem. But yes, and Dagger says, you cannot speak the truth without risking offense. Truer words were never fucking spoken. If I could gild that, run a flag up it and salute it, I fucking would, Dagger. That is very much the truth. One of the things that I spoke to on the first deleted copy of this stream, do I even want to go into that? Yes, I do. The shit that you see in YouTubia these days, it's really toxic. And Dagger says it was Thomas Paine. I think you're correct. I'd have to look it up. It's very familiar. You know, and this is one of those inconvenient little truths that I'm going to touch on. YouTube, as we understand it, is a very toxic environment. You've got people putting people up for public ridicule. Examples would be formerly me, Shani for Christ, Adrasdia, Latiti. There are a whole bunch of people like that are just thrown up there for nothing more than people to point and laugh. And that's, you know, schadenfreude and wanting to laugh at spectacle. That's human nature. About the time that this person starts slicing into their arm, you know, and yes, it was done for attention. And yes, the cuts were superficial. And yes, they were across the street, not down the road, and all of the other bullshit that you hear. But the minute metal hits flesh to the point you see blood, there is something wrong with that human. They are broken and they need to be in a hospital, regardless of whatever attention they are trying to get. She needs attention. What she needs is her ass in a hospital across the desk from a really good psychiatrist, not to be pointed and laughed at, not to be made worse. Now, that's no slam to people that she's kind of targeted. Now, we're speaking to it, you know, we're speaking about Adrastia at this point, somebody that I tripped over as I was farting around. You know, yeah, she's targeted some people. She said some pretty atrocious shit about people that through, you know, especially one person through another creator that I really respect a lot. And I know they don't want to have their name drug all up in this, so I'm not going to name any specific names. There have been a couple of people she's done this to. So yeah, she's a problem. She's a problem that could get somebody arrested. She's a problem that could kill herself, be it unintentionally or otherwise. She's a problem that could take someone out with her. Dagger's correct, or Skits is correct. They are dangerous at that point. Hi, Go-Go. How's it going? So yeah, you can't talk about self-harm and people pushing people into self-harm for the sake of their own spectacle without potentially offending someone. Notice how I had to be careful about that content creator and be sure that this person knew that I was not meaning what I was saying in any kind of a negative light. And I don't have any slam. Let's go back to Bells is against censorship. I don't have any slam whatsoever to somebody that, you know, is making that kind of content because that's what brings them in the money, or that's what they like and want to do. Where I don't have to give it a pass, and I won't, is intentionally, and that content creator I'm talking about is not one of these people, nor others that have been in his similar position. You know, where I'm not going to give it a hand waving is somebody intentionally saying, let's see if we can push this person into harming themselves. Let's see if we can push this person into jumping off a bridge, because she threatened to do that too. Now, do I think she's going to sit in her living room and slice herself up to any great degree? Probably not. Do I think she might be on that bridge when something really bad hit her and caught her by surprise? Merry Christmas. Happy solstice. Happy Hanukkah. Blessed Kwanzaa. Let's see if I can figure out any more. I don't know what time of year Diwali is. I'd have to look it up. Pretty much every culture has a winter holiday, I think. But yeah, so have a happy one of them there things where you eat too much and you have so much fun. And it snows a lot, just not here. It's snow in the mountains here, though. So yeah, there need to be some boundaries reestablished. once it starts affecting someone's kids, once it starts affecting somebody, engaging in really serious self-harm or something like that, once somebody loses a job, too far. Too far. I've had some pretty monstrous shit done to me. And that would absolutely not be my go-to. It's like, oh, this person said that, called me everything but a blue goose. Hey, I have an idea. Let's dox the shit out of them. That's not my go-to, and it shouldn't be yours either. People do get hurt, and not just in the United States. You get your head bashed in by a baton just as easily as you can end up getting shot by a gun. It's a little more up close and personal, of course. But these countries that, don't have firearms, I promise you their police do. Promise. I promise you that they're going to get even more aggressive if they hear a private civilian has a gun. Then there's a good chance that it's like, okay, well, this person has a gun. Knee jerk, bam. Oh shit, he didn't have a gun. This was a swatting. It happens. And I don't want it to happen anymore. I don't want to hear that the next Adrastia jumped off a bridge. I don't want to hear that Reverend News fucking, Shanny took off and left his ass in the cold and man starved to death. This is shit I don't want to hear. We need to stop before it gets to the point where it destroys lives. Calling me fat is one thing. Calling me fat and then trying to get some sort of terrible shit done to me, like, get me uninvited from a convention where I was supposed to speak or whatever. That's entirely a different thing. Now you're hitting my bottom line. This and anywhere else. But yeah, got recently doxxed, as everyone knows. I've gotten a couple of phone calls. So there's that. I've since forgiven the person and walked away. That doesn't mean I'll ever have them inhabit my life again. Just having an unlisted number doesn't mean somebody can't get your number. I want you to know that. And YouTube Schizophrenic says pointing and laughing is okay. Just don't invade their life. There's an example of one YouTuber who had somebody do that very thing to him. I'm not going to mention names either. They had a whole bunch of problems at a workplace of theirs. Now, whether or not they're out their ass, I don't know. This person has been full of shit before, but they've also been telling the truth before. You just can never know. And one of the people that was tertiary to their life decided that they were going to out them for all the problems that they had, with that specific workplace, and try to debunk them and all the rest of that stuff. Well, as it turns out, the person that was doing all that debunking and shit talking and everything else sure as hell had some skeletons in their closet too. And those got found out. Remember, the second thing behind, did she lock herself in the bathroom? No, she didn't. Okay, she's on the wheelchair. God, I'm always looking for the kitten, make sure she's where I think she is. You've always got something going on with you too. And nobody doesn't have skeletons in their closet. I mean, there was one guy who was, this is back in the day. This is a long time ago. I want to say about 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. I was still on the Delphi forums, and there was this one guy who used to go around, and he was frothingly transphobic and frothingly homophobic and a whole lot of other ists to go along with that. He was just all around a bad guy, but he was constantly coming at people from this moral ground. It was like, well, it says in the Bible. It says in the Bible. I'm a God-fearing man. And then because somebody was at his physical address, wasn't as good of a friend as he thought they were. It was somebody they met online, some girl. I don't even remember the whole story. She got in his computer and she found the folders upon folders and folders of, anime trans pornography. And that's not necessarily the foulest thing that one could trip over. But if you think about the person, think about how humiliated he would have been as she just started posting and took pictures in his place, which was hoarded. She hung his ass out to dry, and that had been the plan all along. At least that's what I was told. I don't know if it was or not. She could have gone out there with honest intentions, come in there and seen dog shit all over the floor and lost it. That's a potentiality too. The bottom line is you got skeletons in your closet. You got shit that you don't want other people to know about necessarily. Please don't act like that is not the case when you know it is. You don't want to have that kind of trouble. So pointing and laughing is fine. Don't invade their life. And don't forget, to maintain your own, for lack of a better word, humility, because it could be you. Anyone can fall. So yeah, don't fuck with people's life. Don't normalize abuse of various kinds. And pushing somebody to jump off a bridge is abuse. Look up the Conrad Roy case. Again, not the specific creators that I tripped over this person on, but people adjacent to them. There's one pretty bad troll that actually targeted me. At least she thinks she's a bad troll. She's not. She's an idiot. If you look around on my channel, you might find out who it is. I'm not going to mention their name again. But yeah. So we got to creepypastas. And in the shape of Fredo sitting right there with a big smile on his face, as he's the most courageous person I've ever met. It's like, yeah, okay, I got cancer. Hey, watch this. I'm also now the head guy in my lodge because fuck you. That's why. Fuck cancer. So in the shape of Fredo, you're going to get one hell of a decent reading that you get to see. You're going to get to hear of the first of these creepypastas. And just as soon as I have Dragon, you're going to start seeing some pretty fucking robust EAS scenarios. And Fredo says, fuck cancer. And the horse wrote in on, frankly, I don't think it was a horse. I think it was a 3-legged llama on crack because it's a piece of shit and that's all it can afford. But yeah, I'm about 46 minutes in this. I'm going to go on ahead to like the top of the, give you guys a solid hour. But anyway, while I do that, so there's this guy, he had a hell of a story. And what he said was, it's like he walked into his doctor's office and he felt like shit. And he was pretty worried about it being something like the big C. Because his hair's all sticking up. He can't keep his left shoe on. He smells, for some reason, like those terrible cherry cordial candies that you get at a gas station. That you get one and then you bite into it, remember why you hate it, that whole thing. So he comes in there and he absolutely feels like he was rode hard, put up wet. Doctor takes one look at him, is like, oh, you look like shit. And he's like, thank you. Oh, esteemed medical person, I feel like shit. Can we find out why, please? So the doctor runs tests and tests and then some more tests. And he has to do one invasive thing because one of the problems the guy told him about is like, yeah, well, I can't keep my left shoe on. And for some reason, my asshole keeps taking bites out of my truck seat. And the doctor writes down in his notes, hey, I have an idea. Let's remove the teeth from this guy's anus because that cannot be good for him or for the truck seat or for anyone he slept with. Can you imagine if he decided he was going to go for some anal and then La Chompo? That would be some splaining to do. So, he schedules him to have the teeth removed from his asshole, the whole bit. Does all these tests, some of them pretty invasive. And the guy comes back in and he's feeling even worse because those tests were invasive. And he walks up to the doc, sits down in a chair. He's kind of gray in the face. His eyes are half rolled back. He feels like shit. And the doc says, well, I found out what's wrong with you. The tests are back. And he's like, okay, give it to me straight, doc. What kind of cancer is it? He goes, well, it's not a cancer per se. Your DNA is backwards. The guy says, and? I'm waiting for somebody to say it. I'm waiting for somebody to say it. Yeah, Skit's got it. I kind of knew that he was going to be the one to get it. Just post in there when you got it, kids. Let's see how many people have it. Oh, my mom is so mad at me because I called her up and told her that joke. She went on like a 5-minute anti-pun rant. I told my husband, and he has yet to answer me. He's probably very embarrassed that he knows somebody that fires off puns. And one of the things he likes to say is puns are the lowest form of humor. which they are, but that's what makes them so goddamn funny. You know, I would walk past any 10 dirt ass jokes just to get to one pun, especially if it's across multiple languages. So yeah, now that I've tormented you, and we still got another, we've got another 10 minutes of you putting up with my bullshit. Let's turn this into an Ask Me Anything. I will add a caveat. There are some things I'm not going to answer. You know what they are. So ask me anything. Let's see what you guys can come up with, because children, I'm out of ideas for this stream. Like, for real. Boy, am I going to have an intriguing thumbnail up here to make up for the blur of paper tape that's across my camera right now. I was in a hurry. It was there. Sasumi. And I know it's just absolutely about, 1998 technology to do shit this way, but hey, it was right on the desk and I was having a technical problems. Therein lies madness. Technical problems. Wow. I sound awesome today. I'm just not with my shit together today. I hope you guys are enjoying listening to my bullshit. Considering you had no sound before, now you've got all the sound. Yeah, Skit says I tape my camera for safety. A lot of people do that, and I'm debating just keeping some gaffer's tape around and doing that. But it's less my paranoia as opposed to, having something like this happen. I just pop the tape off if I need to use that camera, which generally I don't. I have a webcam that's dedicated. Oh, and here's some good news. I'm going to have, a really nice Blue Yeti mic soon. So that and a pop filter, which is, I'll tell you what, it's gotten just about more important for me to up my sound game a little bit as it is for me to get Dragon, but I still have to throw money at that. Money. Okay. 2,000-pound elephant in the room, probably a lot more. Let's talk about grifting and the definition of grifting. And I know this is probably going to have me get hit by a few turds, and there are going to be some downvotes, and so be it. This needs to be said. Remember Thomas Paine a minute ago. Not every time anybody asks for money is a grift. Not every time anybody asks for money is there a specific and dedicated thing like there is in my case. Every last dime I make through doing YouTube in any way, and I have gotten some donations, one of them sizable, it goes straight back into the channel. And starting now, from this fucking point forward, I am more than willing to show people some details of what money gets spent on to prove that not everybody asking for donos is grifting. And I'll list them out for you right now. The big two right now are stuff like that pop filter and, probably getting with some people and talking about, ways that I can bump my sound up that don't involve me constantly combing through it in Audacity, which I'm starting to learn now. And some of it is you can't polish a turd. You should have good sound going in, which is another thing I learned. So, yeah. Now, if you're talking about somebody like Shanny for Christ, who literally came on, like months ago, and it was like, foods. I need foods. When she could go to a fucking food pantry or send Rev out to go to a food pantry. No, that's not what they want. What they wanted was Chinese food. For fuck's sake, just put your coffee up there, or put a treat stream up there and mention it a couple of times. Like I'm absolutely fiending for some pizza. If you can help, I would appreciate it. And then go on with content that people are actually there to listen to. So no, there's not going to be any foods for me, especially considering the diet I'm on. But I might say, hey, look, I'm trying to save up for pop filter, trying to save up to get Dragon Professional. I was going to save up for a better mic, but that seems to have solved itself at the wonderful hands of my amazing husband, who decided that I needed another Christmas present. So yeah, you want to know what I spent it on? I'll show you. I have no problem doing that whatsoever. Now, some of the recent donations I had to pay a bill off with. What was the bill specifically for my hosting? There's a problem with that particular web host. So no, you don't get to go and point and laugh at my role-playing website. Fuck you. But yeah, every YouTuber worth the name. Well, just about, maybe there's some that don't, but most of the YouTubers that you hear do ask for donations for their work. And it's like Harlan Ellison once said, pay the writer, pay the creator. And Valkyrie asked, how was the wedding? I didn't even get to say congratulations. I'm sorry, I've been so busy. No, that's okay. And the wedding was fucking amazing. We had so much fun that it took me a week to recover. We had a wonderful time at that wedding. We had a wonderful time at that con. My sister was there. My niece was there. My stepmom was there. There were like family members of mine, new and old. Two of my friends from online, from having met them on Discord, were at my wedding. Actually, technically speaking, 3, because Fredo, who was my officiant at my wedding, is somebody that I met online. Dude, those friendships can be real. The proof in the pudding comes in, can you tell the difference? And for a long time, I could not. And Skit says, sounds like a storybook wedding. Yes, if the story were written by crazy science fiction fans. And it was. It was. Fredo was right there reading the words that I wrote in a ringing voice that I had never heard out of him before. This man has some pipes as a speaker. I don't know if you heard it during the interview, but when he decides that he is going to start reciting and projecting, you're captivated. It was a fucking amazing wedding. Thank you, Valkyrie. That's very, very much welcome. And you are an amazing person. And I'm just so glad to, everybody that's in here pretty much, I'm glad to know you guys. I noticed that there are some significant people silent. And my bet is there are people silent because there are a lot of people I have blocked on here. See above. Am I going to unblock anyone? Probably not. Especially not some of the people that have been demanding that I unblock them. No, that's not happening. This Bell's channel, this not you channel. On you channel, you go talk about stupid bullshit. On Bell's channel, we talk about fun shit. Like sound that flakes out. Oh my God, that was ridiculous. We are down to 3 minutes. Ask me anything. The closer we get, the more spicy of a question I'm tempted to answer. I still might not answer all of them. But yeah. So I'm out of all the drama servers I was in. And I'm no longer doing that kind of content. I'm into the paper towel content. I'm into the gaffer tape content, the fucking quilter's tape across my monitor or whatever. Yes, Skits, I still play No Man's Sky. That is my Steam name. Pythia of Elysium. The Pythia comes from it's the name of the oracle at Delphi, the specific name of the individual in the discharge of her duties. And my civilization in No Man's Sky is very esoteric. Obviously, because, hey, it's me. And there's actually, it's a very small civ that, like, there are many of them that are just thousands and thousands of people. Mine is under 20. It's a little tiny civ, but, and this is a big but, we go around building stuff. We have the time of our lives. We've got a whole story structure behind it. And we're having a really good time. So if you want to look me up, please feel free on Steam. Please be advised that not all of you are going to make the cut. I have to be careful because there still be some assholes out there. I don't want assholes in my No Man's Sky experience. Anyway, we are into that last minute. That last minute, ask me anything. Ask me anything. Tick, 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 tick. Questions are ticking away. Tick, tick. Come on, guys. You're holding out on me. Oh, wait, that's right. A bunch of you are blocked. No diss to people that are actually tuned into me, Those of you that actually get to speak in here are the wind beneath my wings. But this is Belle's land. This is not nobody else land. Where's Ati? She is asleep on my wheelchair, being very strange. Yes, cats can be strange in their sleep. She's on her back, and she's doing the kitten dreaming, twitchy paws and whiskers thing. And I am struggling to I'm struggling to keep myself from going over there and petting that tummy. No, it's not that she will bite. Well, she will a little bit. She does a little nursing, kitten taken away from mom too soon nibble. She's an orphan. Yeah, I want to say that really clearly. Somebody's going to jump on it. 𝕨𝕝𝕝 was an orphan. 𝕨𝕝𝕝 was found in the middle of a thunderstorm. 𝕨𝕝𝕝 was found not in the greatest of health and very, very small. 𝕨𝕝𝕝 is no longer very, very small. She's starting to grow into the Maine Coon heritage that my vet saw the second she saw her. She's like, this kitten is a Maine Coon cross. How does she know? Coat type, shape of the face, shape of the eyes, general behaviors, even the sound of her voice. Fun fact, Maine Coons have sweet little voices that you'd think came out of a cat a third their size. And then he walks in the room and he's this 22-pound horse of a thing. Happened to me. Anyway, oh no, look at that. We're at the hour point. Gee, you could have asked me a really spicy question and you fell back on your duties. Oh, we're at the hour of 1. I'm not going to run this out any longer than that. I asked you to leave your poop shoes at the door so you don't track shit across my living room. Well, I'm going to tell you as you go out of here, go out of this place on your journeys through life and whatever else you're going to do, which hopefully doesn't include making some other poor human upset. Please don't step in anything soft. Please don't. I promise you wouldn't have stepped on anything in here because I always make sure to clean up the frab tack. Spell it backwards. Yeah, one of my cats has a bit of a dodgy stomach. Bengals always do. But yeah, so we're a 1 minute and almost 2 minutes into this thing, and I want to call it off here because, as I understand it, the algorithm is hurt by long live streams, and so I'm not going to be doing those so much anymore. The only reason this wound up as long as it did is because I was having fun. And hey, there you go. You have something listenable that you can have at work and not be worried that I'm going to show you some awesome and significant thing and you miss it. But anyway, don't step on anything soft. If you do, leave your poop shoes beside the door instead of tracking it through your house, because then your dog is going to roll in it. Okay? Fly low, avoid the radar. Much love to most of you. I'm sure there are a couple of hate watchers out there. But I don't want nothing bad to happen to none of you. So you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Take care.